loved her and I just wanted to see her happy.
It's no secret that Jeanette Jennings has always kept a watchful eye over her transgender daughter, Jazz.
I'm really hoping that I could avoid this altogether.
But even though all 4 of her kids are in their 20s now, she's still been obsessing over their safety and whatever else she believes is best for them. Could Jeanette's overprotectiveness of her adult children actually be doing more damage than good? The real reasons why many people are convinced that she's a harmfully overbearing mom are finally being exposed, and they're seriously alarming. Even before the series premiere of I Am Jazz in 2015, Jeanette faced criticism for her parenting. But other than the unnecessary hate she's received for supporting Jazz's choice to transition, she's also been slammed for her extremely controversial behavior. During the latest season of I Am Jazz, Jeanette's lack of boundaries as a mom was on display more than ever. Despite the fact that Jazz was almost 22 years old when season 8 was filmed, her mother tried to control almost every single aspect of her life. Jazz was on summer break from her classes at Harvard University, so she was staying with her parents and brothers for a few months. But instead of letting Jazz have the same freedom she had while she was away at college, Jeanette basically had her on lockdown. Jeanette explained that because Jazz is transgender, she had a right to be worried for her safety. But a lot of viewers have noticed that Jeanette has been using Jazz's well-being along with her identity as a transgender woman as an excuse to completely control her. In one episode, Jeanette actually tracked Jazz's location on her phone so that she could check in on her. But after she showed up unannounced to the museum where her adult daughter was hanging out with her friends, Jazz confronted her. What Jeanette confessed next was absolutely shocking. When Jazz asked her mom if she was ever going to stop tracking her location, Jeanette's response was deeply troubling. She simply didn't answer, which implied that she had no plans to let Jazz have an actual independence. In fact, Jeanette admitted during a confessional that she doesn't think she'll ever be able to fully let go of Jazz. But there are obviously much healthier ways that she could have a close bond with her daughter while also respecting her boundaries. And that's not the only example of Jeanette taking her self-proclaimed concern way too far. And another point during the season, Jeanette mentioned that she had woken Jazz up in the middle of the night for a seriously unsettling reason. She had supposedly been nervous that Jazz's recovery process after her gender confirmation surgery would be totally reset, but what she decided to do in order to help her daughter was downright disturbing. Apparently, Jeanette brought Jazz the tools she needed to use for her dilation therapy. She even told her daughter that if she didn't follow through with using it, she would insert the tool for her. Not surprisingly, an insane amount of viewers were stunned by Jeanette's on-screen revelation. It's understandable that as a mom, Jeanette would want Jazz to have the best possible results from surgery, but what she did to make sure that would happen was definitely crossing the line. Now, many people have accused Jeanette of mistreating her own child in a very inappropriate way. She should have allowed Jazz to set her own schedule for such personal therapy exercises, but instead, she didn't even give her daughter the option to wait until the morning. Jeanette literally had no right to push Jazz into such an uncomfortable situation. Some people strongly believe that she should be criminally charged for essentially forcing Jazz to do her dilation therapy. But there had been even more occasions when Jeanette's excessive behavior as a parent seemed incredibly damaging. At one point, Jazz's dad said that while his daughter was at Harvard, she was thriving. And considering how much better Jazz's mental health appeared to be at the start of season 8 than it had been in the past, her dad's statement seemed completely true. But after Jazz moved back into the same house as her mom for the summer, her mental health started spiraling out of control. In one heartbreaking scene, she expressed to Jeanette that she wanted to feel like herself and actually be happy. But a lot of viewers think that the timing of Jazz's emotional breakdown wasn't just a coincidence. It turns out that many people believe that Jeanette's overbearing nature had caused her daughter to suffer from such emotional pain. And when Jazz revealed that she finally felt ready to find her true love, most viewers saw that as a huge step in a positive direction. It really seemed like Jazz was successfully rebuilding her self-confidence. Not to mention, she wanted to find a genuine life partner. Even if Jeanette had her own anxieties about Jazz's dating life, shouldn't she have been happy for her daughter? But instead of recognizing that, Jazz had made a ton of progress with improving her shattered self-esteem. Jeanette demanded that she delete her online dating profile. Jazz was literally doing exactly what the majority of other young adults were doing, but her mom was still shutting her down. Jeanette thought it was too risky, specifically for her transgender daughter, to get to know a potential partner online. However, Jazz had already started talking to one guy guy who invited her out on a date. But of course, Jeanette wasn't about to simply allow her grown daughter to do what she wanted. Jeanette actually had Sander, Jazz's older brother, act as a chaperone on the date. Later that night, she ended up gossiping with one of her friends about a very personal aspect of her daughter's life. What Jeanette speculated about was absolutely insane. While Jazz was on the date, she had declined a kiss from the guy. She explained that she was feeling really nervous at the time, and honestly, who can blame her? Not only were there several cameras recording her, but her brother was supervising everything. Jazz also said that she wanted to wait until the moment felt special and she felt more emotionally connected to a guy before she accepted a kiss. But once again, Jeanette had a totally different opinion altogether. Jazz had legitimate reasons for declining the kiss, but Jeanette refused to acknowledge they were valid. Instead, she started talking to one of her friends about the possibility of Jazz being asexual, all behind her daughter's back. After the episode aired, some social media users started making crazy accusations about Jeanette. During season 8, a bizarre amount of people accused Jeanette of exploiting her daughter. But after seeing how easily her friend had influenced her to speculate about Jazz's sexuality on national TV, Jeanette's true colors were questioned more than ever. It would be one thing if the majority of Jeanette's conversations with or about Jazz actually seemed healthy and respectful, but just in the latest season, she repeatedly refused to let her grown child have the freedom she deserved to make her own personal decisions. Not only that, but Jeanette defended her unnecessary control over Jazz by claiming she was only keeping her safe, but she was clearly doing more harm to her daughter by preventing her from having a normal adult life. Jazz previously admitted that her family's near-ending pressure to be a role model for other transgender people had left her feeling completely burnt out. She didn't specify, but I have a feeling that her mom probably cared more about Jazz being a role model than anyone else in the family did. But how exactly can Jazz be a role model if she's never even been given much of a chance to live her own life? Jeanette doesn't seem to want Jazz to make her own decisions very often, and she obviously has an unhealthy amount of anxiety about her adult daughter being out in public. Jazz apparently feels like she has a ton of high expectations to meet and live up to, but it seems like most of those have been put in place by her mom. But at the same time, Jeanette has admitted to having a lack of trust and faith in Jazz's personal choices. Even if some of that is somehow Jazz's fault, Jeanette is definitely to blame for creating the situation in the first place. She's constantly held her daughter back from being able to actually experience life, but for some reason she still brings up Jazz's social anxiety and insecurities like they're annoying issues that came completely out of nowhere. People learn to make mistakes and they grow by figuring out their own paths to take, but Jeanette won't allow Jazz to hang out with her friends without trying to spy on her. How is she supposed to actually be happy and feel like herself, like she said she wanted to, if her mom constantly discourages her from doing any soul searching? Jeanette's controlling nature has caused so much damage to her daughter, even if she doesn't want to admit it. But she can't seem to figure out why Jazz has been coping with her mental health struggles in such unhealthy ways. Overall, Jeanette's overbearing control over her adult children is only holding them back from achieving their true potential. And if she continues to be insanely overprotected over their daughter, Jazz might never be able to discover who she really is as a person. There are several different reasons why viewers have accused Jeanette of being a toxic parent. It's undeniable that she loves Jazz, but hopefully she loosens her control soon and stops holding her daughter back. Anyway, now that we've talked about why Jeanette's behavior as a mom seems harmful and excessive, I want to know what you guys think. What are your thoughts about the overwhelming amount of control she still has over Jazz? What do you think about Jeanette refusing to stop tracking her adult children's locations? Let me know in the comments below.